Ryan's been showcasing landscape design this season, so here in the studio gardens, I got to design several gardens with different styles. This year we have a formal garden, a cottage garden, romantic, and a contemporary or minimalist garden. So here is our formal garden. As you can see, it's all about form. The bricks that we laid out here are in a very geometric pattern. These gardens are very geometric. If you cut it down the middle, it would be a mirror image on each side. It was also an effort to make a little bit of order out of the chaos of nature. As you can see, topiaries are a big part of a formal garden. Topiaries are just a shrub or a tree that have been pruned into a certain form, either a geometric form like this spiral or sometimes animal shapes. As we said, the form is the most important part and the plants are secondary. I took a little artistic license on this garden because generally we'd have some sort of a hedge, usually boxwood or sandalina or some kind of a clipped hedge around all of the edges, and not so many flowers. Sometimes you can even see a garden, a formal garden, that's all hedges and no flowers at all. But here, since it was only going to be here for one season, we wanted a little bit more impact. So we went ahead and put edgings of petunias with the roses and the angelina in the middle. At the beginning of the medieval period, these formal gardens, since they were really very expensive to maintain and to build, kind of fell out of favor. You could still find some knot gardens in monasteries, in monastic gardens. But then English gardens became more popular. 18th century English gardens kind of led the way to cottage gardens. This is our children's garden, and as you can see, it's a riot of color. It's full of plant materials and flowers. This is its second year, so you can see a lot of things have reseeded themselves and made big splashes of color. This is not a low maintenance garden though. These gardens have to be deadheaded. Plants that are overgrown have to be taken out and moved around. So if you want a more natural garden, that doesn't mean it's going to be easier to take care of. In the 18th century, these became popular with English peasants because they grew herbs and fruit trees in them also and used them in their households. Then, of course, they became popular with the more affluent. A lot of times literature helps guide style, and that's what happened to promote the Romantic movement. This is our romantic garden. These gardens became really popular during the Industrial Revolution as a way to get away from the noise and pollution. Our garden is a white garden, which could also be a moon garden. It's best viewed at night. But the romantic gardens usually had light-colored flowers, things with wonderful fragrance and textures. Here we have pecan shells as a mulch because it gives a nice texture and a sound when you walk on it. They had pathways that led to focal points. We have a bench and a planter. There's a variety of textures and color and shape that would go into a romantic garden just as an escape, like a secret garden. This one has an arbor and something of a fence, a wattle fence around the edge just to give that illusion of enclosure. The last garden we're going to look at is contemporary. This is an example of a contemporary garden. This garden has very strong lines, but unlike the formal garden, it's asymmetrical. So things aren't the same on one side as the other, but they're still visually balanced. Contemporary gardens use a lot of hardscape, mulch, rock, stone, things like that. And they also use focal points, either a really interesting pot, a sculpture, or plants like these banana trees with really interesting leaves. Another thing that we did here in this garden was repeat the plant material. This basil we grew from seed and just planted it in rows. It was not supposed to get this big, but it grew all together and it still looks pretty cool. I had a landscape design student working for me last year, and when we were laying out all these beds, and he said, "These are so much fun to draw and so hard to lay out." And he's right. You said it, Ryan, they're a challenge. So when you get ready to do a garden like this, remember, it's going to be a big investment just getting it laid out on the ground, but then it can be like that for years. As you can see, gardens have changed a lot over history, but we get to use them all. So come on out to the garden and see which one you like best.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.